Hello, and hi everybody, welcome back. This is a random video, and before I start, I want to say that I'm not like generalizing everybody into the same exact thing. In case you're wondering about the shadows on the walls, those are stars that I have hanging on the ceiling. But beyond that, see, I don't want to apply like a generalization of everybody and say, oh, everybody is like this, because it's obviously not true. Otherwise, I would not be able to make this claim. And I'm sure there's other people that feel the same way. But the thing is that this video is going to be about the problem with society, part 1. And this one is going to be about ignorance. And I'm going to focus mainly on my generation, since that has been what I've observed the most, what I've interacted with the most. Being an introvert, I don't really talk to many people, so this is kind of what I've been seeing around me. But I get this thing all the time outside of school. I'll try to talk about something that's an intellectual subject, and I get, I don't need to learn. I'm not in school right now. Save learning for school. And then I'll try to talk about it like in school, and then the people will be like, I'm not in class right now. And it's like, I don't see a will to learn in many people. People settle. They learn what they have to, and they might take harder classes, maybe for the credits or the exemplary marks on their paper or whatever. But the thing is that they don't strive to learn outside of what they need to know, or what they feel like they need for their resume, for going to college or furthering their education or going into the workforce or whatever. And this has caused a huge detrimental flaw in society, because when you don't have this will to learn, you don't really know that much, because the modern schooling system doesn't really teach you that much. It really doesn't, because sure, you learn like your algebra, maybe you take trig, maybe you don't, or anything, but there's lots of things that are out there that people, when I talk about it, they're like, I didn't even know that that existed. And it's like, if you don't know enough generalization about things to be able to realize, oh, this exists, and from the moment somebody starts talking about it, being able to recognize it and at least connect it with something that you know. I'm not saying to like try to study everything, but get a general basis and understanding of how at least the world works around you. And this is why I love physics. That's like my main thing is physics, because it teaches you to look at things in a whole new perspective. When you get into physics to start off, and the more you learn, the more your perspective changes. When you get into physics to start off, there will be that one time that you see a ball kicked and you remember your kinesthetics and you're like, that's how that works. I never knew that before. But then you get deeper and you go into, say, atomic, and then you realize that everything around you is vibrating at a natural harmonic frequency, that everything is vibrations, every energy, every matter, and this has come to be known as string theory. But the thing is that I had this thought, this inkling in my brain before I even heard about string theory, because learning that everything vibrates and it's that natural harmonic frequency that holds them together. That's why a good example would be suspension bridges. If two things vibrate at the same frequency, they'll start to shake dangerously on an atomic level and they'll rip themselves apart. And with the suspension bridge, eventually you can see the wave before it breaks. And I'm digressing a little bit, but the thing is that not having that will to learn, that striving to move forward intellectually, leaves you as not only an ignorant person, not saying that people are dumb, but ignorant as in not knowing, but it leaves you very immature. Because as you learn things, you learn faster. And this doesn't only apply to intellectual things, but it applies to further bases of study, like even just how people work, or philosophy, your own theology, your own beliefs, everything. You start to structure it because you're so used to having that intellectual basis to everything that you do, and you want to formulate everything to fit what you believe, I guess. It's just, I don't understand how people could settle like that. Why would you want to stop understanding? As soon as you do that, you live in a world that you don't even know. That's like dating somebody that you don't even know their name or something like that. But it's a much bigger commitment. When dating somebody, you get to pick and choose the times that you talk to them. Of course, not all time, like taking into crisis, and of course trying to be supportive and everything. But that's a whole nother thing for a whole nother video. But with the world, you're here all the time. There is no break. There is no 5 minutes away from it. You're here all the time. And not even just the world, but the universe and everything, just how it works. How could you not have that natural curiosity of wanting to know what makes what is around you what it is? What makes it function how it does? Like, I've spent a lot of time studying things that I didn't have to study, things that weren't even offered as a class, just because I wanted to know, because I had that innate natural curiosity. And people are like, oh, you know a lot, you must be a genius. But I don't think that I'm any smarter than anybody else by any means. It's just most people don't have that will, that driving force to make them learn. The only reason why people who know a lot are seen as geniuses is because it's normally the geniuses who are, because they read something once and it comes so naturally that they get it every time. And a lot of things, when I do read it the first time, I do get it the first time, but it wasn't always like that. And a genius has problems, because when you're of an accelerated potential and you're ahead of the people around you, things come easily, so you learn to forget that drive because you don't really need it. Because you're just like, okay, I'm going to get this done. You get it done in 5 minutes, but then you stumble across something that you just don't get, and you have no study skills, or you come across something that you just can't do, and you don't know what to do. This is why a lot of people who are intellectual lack common sense, because it's in a daily environment and they're so used to focusing on these other things that are completely abstract and in all of these different dimensions. And then it's like, okay, I have to figure out how to make this work on the spot, and they will often fail because they aren't used to that situation. And the people who are hard working and they take the time to learn, that teaches you so much more than just being able to read things and get it. Because if you read it and you get it there, you have no real reward to show. Sure, you understand something new, but if you have to practice and aim for something, you have that work, that dedication, that drive that you truly have to show, and it gives you something to actually be proud of. Just because you understand a lot doesn't make you smart. You might understand a lot, but you don't know how people work, or you don't know philosophy, and you don't have your own way of thinking. That's the biggest thing that bothers me, is that people don't take the time to think. When they see an issue, they choose to subscribe to somebody else's beliefs. Oh, he said it, that sounded pretty good, so I'm gonna go with that. But you're only lessening your own experience. Because if you subscribe to that person's beliefs, you're living your life with their thoughts instead of coming up with your own way of how you understand and how you feel things should be. And what's the point of subscribing to this other person's beliefs? There's absolutely no point. Like, sure, correlating your facts with other people is perfectly fine, and I'm not saying that there's anything wrong necessarily with people that choose to go to those other people's beliefs, but it's like, why imitate their thoughts? There's nobody better on this earth for you to portray than yourself. Because no matter who you are, you could be an identical twin, identical triplet, so on and so forth. Nobody on this earth is exactly like you. You have your own thoughts. You have your own way of understanding. Why not show it? And that's another thing that pisses me off, because these people, they get these completely wild beliefs like racism, prejudice, and all of this different stuff that comes from ages-old beliefs, and they have no defense for it. But if you were to take time and think about it, and you came to those conclusions, at least you would have a reason for it. But the problem with that is that there is no reason. So people would rather choose to be ignorant than have to concede their own beliefs to be realistic and understand things for how they really are. So, in a synopsis, people of this generation I often find dumb because they do not will to learn. They do not learn outside of school. They only know about few things. And it's the ignorance that bothers me. It's not that they don't know something. I don't mind if somebody doesn't know something. It's the fact that they have no will to get rid of that ignorance. They don't try to learn more. But that's it. So if you liked the video, slap that like button in the face. If you agree, smash that like button in the face. If you disagree, I don't care. Sideswipe that dislike button in the face. Do whatever you gotta do. Leave a comment of your own beliefs if you agree, disagree, whatever. Just do what you gotta do. Give me some feedback so I know whether or not I'm doing good. And as always, have a nice day. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.